Hi, welcome to my brand new channel. I'm super nervous doing this, but I'm also very excited. Um, this channel is about a German expat living in the United States. 14 years ago, I moved from Germany to Maine, and I'm going to share my cross country cultural observations, my some travel tips in the United States and Europe, and especially my experience as a 59-year-old woman living abroad, living in the United States. This video is about 10 things that I was very shocked about when I moved here. So number 10 is Mainers don't seem to mind the cold at all. One day I drove to work on the road, snow piles everywhere, and the sidewalks were covered with snow piles so that pedestrians had to walk on the road actually. And I saw this. What? I couldn't believe it when I saw it. And I saw it more than once, and I see it ever since every winter. Usually at the beginning of February, when we have the first times above freezing temperature, maybe 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 4 degrees Celsius, you see people walking in shorts and flip-flops in Maine, in the cold, with snow piles. I look like an Eskimo at these temperatures. I bundle up. They were shorts and flip-flops. Now, the next one is funny. This is about how to eat a lobster in Maine. It was a culture shock. It was truly a culture shock. Before I came to Maine, I had lobster a couple of times in very fancy schmancy restaurants where the lobster meat was neatly and beautifully arranged on an expensive plate, and you got some expensive wine with it, and you had a nice, clean experience. This is not how it's been done in Maine. Um, my experience was I got invited to go to the Lobster Shack in Cape Elizabeth. Very famous place. Everyone goes there, the Mainers and the tourists. It's beautifully located right at the shore, at the ocean. You go in, this is what you get. A lobster on a plastic tray, on a plastic plate, in with coleslaw and French fries and some Coke in paper cups, with lots of paper napkins and a huge plastic bib. I was horrified. I actually had to touch the lobster and I had to crack it open. It takes some experience, but as a newbie, totally new person to this, you can be assured that the lobster juice lands everywhere but on the huge plastic bib. It lands in your hair, in your face, on your clothes, just everywhere. The next one is about paper checks. Can you believe it? They are still paying bills with paper checks. I'm still paying bills with paper checks. I got my first bank account in Germany in the 80s when I was 18 years old. And I do remember that I received a paper checkbook with my first bank account, but I also remember that I have never used it because that was the time when they switched and it got all done by electronic payment, phone banking, whatever. I never had to do a paper check in my life until I came into the US. The next one is about air conditioning. Mainers love their air conditioning. I mean, I understand air conditioning in the US. In Texas, Arizona, where it's so hot that people you can't even breathe, let alone walk if it's not air conditioned. But here in Maine, even in summer, it gets hardly hot, but they immediately crank up their air conditioning as soon as the thermometer hits 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 16 degrees Celsius. When you go into restaurants, grocery stores, you better bundle up. You better wear a coat or a thick pullover because otherwise you will be miserable. It's freaking cold inside. They love it. The next one is about Christmas. So, this is my personal experience. Might not be the case for everywhere in the US. So, in Germany, Christmas is magical. It starts with the first Advent, which can be at the end of November. We meet every weekend, each Advent. We bake cookies together. We decorate. It's wonderful. We have Christmas markets. And so my first Christmas I was very excited. We Germans celebrated on Christmas Eve, which is the 24th. And I knew Americans celebrated on the 25th in the morning. I thought, perfect. Jim's boys were still little, so I invited them. They were between 12 and 14 years old, and his parents for Christmas Eve dinner. They came at 5. We had dinner. I cooked. We had a nice dinner at 5. At 6, quarter past 6, we moved 2 meters, 3 feet, 6 feet to the couch, from the table to the couch, because it was a very small house. And we sat and exchanged gifts. And at quarter past 7, I would say, my in-laws decided to leave. And that was also the chance for the boys to say they want to go home. And Jim brought the boys home. My in-laws left. And at 7:30 on Christmas Eve, I sat alone beside my Christmas tree, alone in the house, and tried hard not to feel sorry about myself. I thought I had done something horribly wrong because they left so early. Jim came back quickly and we spent the rest of the evening together, but this is not how I know to celebrate Christmas Eve. So, and this one is my personal thing. Probably not everyone cares about it, but why the heck do Americans don't have public saunas? I love saunas. Many Germans love saunas. I miss saunas, public saunas. Can't get it here. There are hotels who offer customers to pay to use their spas, which usually is a swimming pool with a so-called sauna, which I tried 2 hotels. Their sauna was a very small little room, brightly lit, with a lot of humidity in there. And actually, I froze in there. It was way too cold for me. Makes totally sense because Mainers don't like warmth. For them, a sauna can't be too warm, I guess. For me, a sauna must be burning hot. Anyways, when I go to Berlin, I go to the Wabali. It's just a dream to go there. If any American wants to see what sauna is about, go there. It's a huge place, has 20 saunas, different kind of saunas, lots of room to relax, indoors and outdoors swimming pools. I miss this so much. The next one is a little bit unsettling at first. I noticed when I moved here that a lot of very old people are still working. I saw people in their 80s, maybe 90s, stacking shelves in grocery stores or department stores. I saw them at reception desks of nursing homes or little hotels. At first, I thought these poor people, they have to work because otherwise they couldn't survive with their social security. That's what you get here when you're retired. Later, I noticed that this is not the whole truth. Many Americans want to work in their retirement, at least part time, some of them even full time. I have worked with many colleagues in their late 70s, early 80s, who still worked full time just because they wanted to. They wanted to be still part of real life. They wanted the social interaction. They wanted to feel useful. Um, I have friends in their 80s who still work part time because they like it. They like the structure. They like the exchange. They like the challenge. They don't want to lose contact with the real world. They don't want to spend their time 100% with other retired old people and play puzzles. They want to feel productive. So yes, there might be that many people have to work when they're retired, but there are also very many people who want to work when they're retired. Next one is about American engagement rings. Huge thing here. I guess everybody knows that. We all have seen American movies, rom-coms, where it is important. My nephews and nieces here are all at that age. I love going to their weddings, and the women always have huge engagement rings. My colleagues, all of them. So when I came here to marry Jim, and when we got engaged, we got my engagement ring at Maine Gold and Silver, which is an estate jewelry store. You get used jewelry there. And he bought me an engagement ring for $100. We didn't have a lot of money back then. I thought it was adorable. I liked the engagement ring. I love it. No, Germans don't have a real engagement ring. We have the wedding band, which just changes fingers. Supposedly, men should spend at least 3 times their monthly salary on an engagement ring, which is a lot of money. And Jim just felt bad that he couldn't afford it back then. Yeah, 10 years later he could. Not that much, but he bought me a very, very nice late engagement ring. Huge stone. So the next one is a real shock. When you start working here, you learn that you can be fired anytime without any cause. It's called the at-will employment. It's legal. As an employee, you have the right to quit whenever you want to without a cause also. Usually employees don't do that. They give a 2 weeks notice so that the employer can work out whatever needs to be worked out. But as an employee coming from Germany with very strong labor rights, wow, that's a painful law to get used to. It turns out that the law doesn't really reflect the reality, how it's been done here, luckily. For example, I am still with the same employer that I had my first job with. They never fired me. They hardly fire anyone in this company. And employees are just not interested in firing people quickly because they invest a lot in finding the right person and training that person. Okay, and the last one is about the hidden class divide in the United States. And maybe it's not that hidden, and it's quite controversial. It is noticeable for everyone from Europe, coming from Europe. When you go into certain stores, let's say, for example, Walmart, that customers and employees look as if they don't have a lot of money available. Even employees. You can see that by the clothes they're wearing, and some people don't have teeth, they have teeth missing. which is a sign that they don't have good benefits and that they don't have the savings to afford teeth. It is quite unsettling to see that as a European. And it makes you become aware that life can be harsh for people here. It makes me always be aware how lucky I am that I have a job and that I have a health insurance. Here, I don't take it for granted. And maybe that's a good thing, because in Germany, I took it for granted, most of it. So I hope these 10 things were interesting for you. They are my view on things. And I must say, moving to Maine at the age of 45 was the best decision I had ever made before. It was such an adventure. It still is an adventure. And having this unique look at things as a foreigner makes life very interesting. If you're thinking about moving to the US or traveling in the US, or if you're American thinking about moving to Europe or traveling there, and if you're especially interested in midlife, in experiences, experience from a woman at my age, I hope you will subscribe to this channel, and I can't wait to post my next video. Tschüss.